In this unit, you are going to learn about some, any and no used as determiners and how to make offers and requests. You are also going to learn about the pronouns one and ones and the question word which. When some is used with a plural noun or with an uncountable noun, its meaning is similar to the indefinite article a, an, used with a singular countable noun. I've got a friend in Melbourne. I've got some friends in Melbourne. We bought a table. We bought some furniture. Some can also be used as a pronoun without a noun. If a friend says, I'm going to the bakery to get some bread, you can say, you needn't go, we've got some. As a rule, some is used in affirmative sentences, while any is used in negative sentences and questions. We've got some bread. We haven't got any bread. Have we got any bread? Any is also used in sentences whose meaning is negative, even if the verb is in the affirmative. This happens with never, without, hardly and prevent. He never has any money. I think I'll be able to do that without any trouble. He does hardly any work. The noise prevented me from getting any work done. Like some, any can be used as a pronoun. I'm afraid we haven't got any. Some is not used in negative sentences, but it can be used in questions. Some is used in offers. Would you like some tea? Can I give you some more cake? I'm going to the shops. Shall I get some fruit? Some is also used in requests. Could I have some tea, please? If you go shopping, would you get some milk? Have you got an umbrella and some boots I can borrow? Some is also used when we expect yes for an answer. Is there some time next week that we can meet? We also use some in questions when we have a definite idea of what we want. Where can I buy some stamps? Do you think you could give me some information? Remember not to use some and any with singular countable nouns. I have got some sister. I haven't got any car. Is there any table in the room? Are mistakes. I have got a sister. I haven't got a car. Is there a table in the room? Are correct. When not used on their own as pronouns, some and any must be directly followed by a noun, some discoveries, or modifying adjective and noun, some important discoveries. In other cases, we use some of, any of, some of, any of are used before the definite article. Some of the girls in my class. Before demonstratives, this, that, these, those. Some of this advice. Some of these people. Before possessive adjectives, my, your, etc. Possessive pronouns, mine, yours, etc. And nouns in the possessive case, Mary's, the Browns. Some of her friends, some of yours, some of Mary's friends. And before object pronouns, it, you, us, them. some of it isn't very interesting. As some of you know, no, used with nouns and pronouns, means not any. No can only be used in affirmative sentences as in standard English. It is not considered correct to use a double negative. The most famous double negative of all times was a deliberate use of non-standard English. I can't get no satisfaction. No is used when we want to emphasize the negative aspect of what we are saying. No is not used as frequently as not any. The meaning of the following sentences is similar, but the sentences with not any are the ones you are more likely to hear. I don't have any cigarettes. I have no cigarettes. There aren't any buses on Sunday. There are no buses on Sunday. No is used in formal writing. No application submitted after May the 31st will be considered. No is used at the beginning of a sentence. No tourists come to my town. Any, used as a determiner, cannot be used at the beginning of a sentence. Any tourists don't come to my town. Any tourists come to my town are mistakes. Like some and any, no can only be used when it is followed directly by a noun, no tourists, or modifying adjective and noun, no foreign tourists. Instead, before the definite article, object pronouns, demonstratives and possessive adjectives, possessive pronouns and nouns. In the possessive case, we use none of. None of the people I saw. None of them. None of this. None of Mary's friends. In one-word answers, we cannot use any or no. We can only use none. How many mistakes did you make? None. We are going to look at different ways to make offers. The modal verbs shall, should, will, would, can and could are used. Offers are usually questions, but statements can also be used. Remember that all modal verbs are followed by the base verb, the infinitive without to, and that with modal verbs we do not use auxiliary verbs in negative and interrogative sentences. Offers can be made with shall I, shall we, and with should I, should we, as you saw in a previous lesson. You have also seen how to make offers with I will and we will. Will you can be used to make offers or invitations. Generally, offers with will are informal, used when speaking to a friend. Will you have another biscuit? Will you come for tea on Tuesday? Remember that will you must be followed by a verb. Will you a cup of coffee is a mistake. Will you is not followed by the verb like or verbs whose meaning is similar to like. Will you like to come for tea on Tuesday is a mistake. Would you is widely used in offers. It is used followed by the verb like or another verb with a similar meaning. Enjoy, care for, fancy, prefer, when offering things, especially food and drink. What would you like to drink? Would you like a cup of coffee? Would you fancy a drink? Would you prefer rice or pasta? Would you enjoy going for a walk? Do not forget to use a verb after would you like. Would you a cup of coffee is a mistake. In offers, we use a, an with singular countable nouns, and even though they are questions, we use some with plural nouns and uncountable nouns. Do not use any. Would you like a cup of coffee? Would you care for some biscuits? To offer help, we can use either would you like or can. Would you like me and would you like us is followed by an infinitive. Would you like me to carry that? Would you like us to bring something to the party? Would you like me to do the dishes? You must use would you like me or would you like us to in exactly this form. Would you like that I? Would you like that we? Are mistakes. We can also offer help using can I, can we. You look thirsty. Can I get you something to drink? Can I help you? That suitcase looks heavy. Can I carry it for you? May I, may we, plus base verb can be used instead of can in formal situations, but nowadays this is not very common. May cannot be used in affirmative sentences when offering help. Requests are usually made as questions using can, could, will, would. We are going to look first at ways to make requests for help, and after that we'll look at how to make requests for permission. Requests for help can be made with can you plus the base verb. Can you please help me? Can you tell me the way to the station, please? Can you get some bread on your way home? Could you is also used in requests for help. It is slightly more tactful than can you. Thus, if a request is a somewhat difficult one, we would probably use could you. Could you drive me to the station, please? To make a request even more tactful, we can say, do you think you could drive me to the station, please? Could you possibly drive me to the station, please? You couldn't possibly drive me to the station, could you? To ask another person to do something, we can use would you plus base verb. Requests with would you are less polite than requests with could you. Would you give me a hand? Would you meet me at the station, please? Would you please phone me if you're going to be late? Now we are going to look at ways to ask for permission to do something. One way to do this is to use can I, can we. Can I speak to Jane, please? Can I use your telephone? Can I sit here, please? Can we park here? Could I, could we are used in the same way when the situation is felt to be a bit more formal. If instead of telephoning a friend, you are telephoning an office or phoning someone you do not know well, you can say, could I speak to Miss Smith, please? In a restaurant, you could say, could we have the bill, please? There is very little difference between can and could in requests for permission. Could I speak to Jane, please? Is an acceptable way to make an informal request. Note that in giving and refusing permission, you should not use could, couldn't. You must use can, can't. In answer to, could I borrow your pen, please? Yes, you could. No, you couldn't, are mistakes. May I, may we, and might I, might we are used to ask for permission in more formal situations. Nowadays, especially in speech, can and could are far more common. Very few people use may or might. Requests for permission can also be made with do you mind if I, do you mind if we, plus base verb. And with would you mind if I, would you mind if we, plus a verb in the past tense. Would you mind is considered more tactful than do you mind. Do you mind if I look at your newspaper? Would you mind if I used your phone? When asking to speak to someone on the telephone or asking to see a person, we do not make requests with is there. Is there Gigi? Is a mistake. In a telephone conversation we say, is Gigi there? When asking to see a person we say, is Gigi here? In both of these situations we can say, is Gigi in? Is Gigi home? You can answer either, yes, just a moment please, or no, he's not in just now. No, I'm afraid he's not. Now you know several different ways to make offers and requests and to reply to offers and requests. Before we go on to the next topics, let's look at how the word please is used. As you've seen, it is used to accept an offer, yes please, and to make a request more polite. Instead of, can you open the door? We generally say, can you open the door please? There are cases when the use of please is a mistake. Please cannot be used in response to thanks. Correct replies to thank you or thanks are you're welcome, not at all. Please cannot be used to ask someone to repeat something. Say, what? Pardon? Could you repeat that? Please cannot be used on its own when giving someone something. Say, here. Here you are. There are two more points that we are going to look at in this lesson. The first is the use of the question word which. Which, like what, can be used with nouns or on its own as a pronoun. Which kind of soup would you like? Which would you like? There is a difference in meaning between which and what. Which indicates that one's choice is more limited. If we are considering a wide range of possibilities, we use what? What's your favourite flavour ice cream? If we are considering a limited number of possibilities, we use which. Which flavour ice cream would you like? Vanilla, chocolate or strawberry? The last topic we are going to look at is the use of the words one and ones. Often we use these words so that we do not need to repeat a noun. One is used in place of a singular noun. Ones is used in place of a plural noun. I'll take the red sweater, not the blue one. I'd like some apples, some red ones. Remember that one and ones can only be used to refer to countable nouns. One can be used with a, an, the, this and that. A blue one, the blue one, this one, that one. Ones can be used with some, the, these and those. Some red ones, the red ones, these ones, those ones. In questions, but only when referring to countable nouns, one, ones can be used with which. Which one would you like? You cannot use one, ones after which when you are referring to uncountable nouns. If someone says, I'd like some meat please, you have to say, which meat would you like? Or, which would you like? One, ones can be omitted after which with no change in meaning. Which apples would you like? Which would you like? That is the end of the lesson. Now you can do the exercises on the grammar points presented in this unit.